Hi, welcome to A Little Bit Scattered. My name is Becky, and this is episode 7. So thank you for joining me. I'm excited to talk to you today because I feel like I have a lot to share. Been busy with a lot of different art, crafting, knitting, dyeing, and spinning. So I want to get started with that. And then we're also in November. Today is November 12th. So we're heading into the holiday season, which is also very exciting. I live in Portland, Oregon, for those of you who are just joining me for the first time. And I'm here with my husband, our 3 kids, and our black Labrador. And she will come up in our discussion today. So I want to go ahead and get started. First thing is what I'm wearing. Those of you who have been watching knows that I have been wanting to knit PetiteKnits Sunday Cardigan. And I ended up using a yarn that I found at Tuesday morning, actually. It's called Inca Tweed. And I had originally gotten this for my son's sweater, but ended up it not working because it was a bulky yarn. So I ended up using it for this sweater, and I think it turned out great. What fun this sweater was to knit. First of all, bulky yarn, size 10 and 11 needles. It knit up so quickly. For me, probably the quickest sweater I've ever knit. I think it took me 5 days. Although I focused on this alone. I didn't do any of my other knitting, which is kind of the running joke on this podcast, because I keep talking about wanting to knit these other things that I started, but then I get going on a sweater project and I just kind of get focused on that. So the instructions were great. Just a really quick, fun knit. I can stand up to show you. The only changes I made, I'm trying to think. I think I stayed pretty true to the pattern. I always make my body a little longer, although I do like it hitting on my, kind of right below. If I was wearing a belt on jeans, it would hit right below there. So I like it a little shorter. But that's how this is designed. So I think even though her, my assumption is that she's petite. I'm not petite. I'm tall. I'm 5'8". So it has the same look. I just did it longer because my torso is longer. And then she does really long sleeves, and which I love because usually I have to increase the sleeves, but I think I stayed true to what her pattern had. So really fun. This is, let's see, I wore this a couple times last week, and then my daughter stole it for a week. And in fact, I thought she may have worn it today because I couldn't find it in her room, but then she told me where it was. So I did find it. But I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to show you because she loves it. Her comment to me, which was really encouraging, from a 17-year-old, was, "Mom, I'm really liking all the things you're knitting lately. They're just really cute." She thinks what I'm knitting is very vintagey, so, which I think is a good thing. I don't know. But I've been really loving what I've been knitting too, and it's been really fun. Excuse me. I think the last thing I knit was my son's sweater, and that was with acrylic, and I just didn't enjoy that as much. And so then to go back to some bulky yarn with big needles and just and it's 100% wool. So it just was super fun to knit. So I finished that again in like 5 days. So then to replace that project, the next project that I have also mentioned is a sweater for our dog, our lab. And this is the Ozzie large dog sweater, and it is by Ahimsa Ranch and Rescue. Oh, I didn't know that. That's sweet. So, our dog, you know, she's a lab, so she doesn't get cold as much as she doesn't like the rain when we go for walks. So, it's kind of funny that she doesn't like the rain and we're in Portland, but that's her. So I'm hoping that if we put the sweater on her, it won't bother her as much. And she's really good. Like, she'll let us just do anything to her. So she'll wear it. In fact, I've actually tried it on her, and she was fine with that. I'm almost done. So let's see. I just used. So the last thing I have to do is pick up around the armholes, or the, would you call them armholes, paw holes, and do another 2x2 rib. And then it comes down, and it's a little, you can't really tell, but it's a little shorter in the front than it is in the back. And grab the yarn. I just use Patton's classic wool, and the color is Natural Mix. There's some flecks of different colors in there, some gray, but mostly it's kind of a cream, and she's black, so it looks really cute on her. I'll have to take a picture of it and post it on my Instagram. But again, this is bulky, super fast and easy. It looks like I did some striping here. I don't know how that turned out. Oh, I know, I changed needle size. I think that's what it was. Anyway, so I'm just about done with that. So that's not a finished object, but almost finished. And then the other thing is, now that it's getting a little cooler, I made some of the Duffer slippers. That is a free pattern on Ravelry a while ago, and I wore them so much that I wore a hole in them, and so I needed to make a new pair. And so I decided to take, let's see, again, I just had stuff in my stash. So this is, I think it's the same Patton's classic wool bulky. And the colorway is interesting. It's a dark gray, and it's rag, R-A-G-G. So, but it's a marled. So I did that, and then I don't even know what kind of yarn this is. It's kind of this interesting, not really showing up very well on the camera, but it's like almost a greeny yellow. So I thought that would be kind of a fun combination. I mean, just slippers, right? So I made those, and what you do is you knit them. It doesn't take very long at all. They're very quick again, and you felt them. Once you've knit them, you felt it up, and here's how they turned out. I'm doing the right way. So just really cute. Here's the bottom. So the bottom is that kind of greeny yellow, and then I thought the marled ended up felting really cute. So I've been wearing these every day. They just keep my feet nice and warm. That's another finished object. So I've been kind of flying through. I mean, with bulky yarn, I feel like I'm just flying through these projects. So I think that was it. And then I decided no more projects until I pull out my other projects that I've been working on. And that is the, let's show you the pattern first. The Pine Bough Cowl by Paper Tiger, and it's something that I've been working on for a while. I worked on it a lot while we were on our trip this summer, and then once I got back, I just haven't really picked it up again. So I've done one more section. So this is one section, and this is another. Actually, I showed you this before, but this is considered one full pattern. So you do one section, and then you do two rows to kind of divide that. Then you do another section, and then you do this stripe. And then you do this whole thing 4 times. So that's 1, 2, and then I'm starting 3. So I was like here, and I just did a little bit. But I can say that I actually worked on it, which the last few videos I've been saying, I really need to get that in the rotation. So I think it's going to be my Sunday project, because Sundays I like to just make really kind of mellow and relaxed mornings and just work on that, kind of creating a quiet space. And I do need to focus a little bit because it is charted. This is my chart. So it's not something I can just knit while I'm even listening. Well, I guess I can listen to an audiobook, but not watching TV or even watching my NBA basketball, which I'm really into right now. So yeah, that's just something I have to concentrate a little bit more on. So that is in progress. And then I'm also working, I didn't bring it in here, but I'm also working on my Autumn Haze Afghan, or Afghan. And I did work a little bit on that too, just to say I did. I think I did maybe 6 rows on that, but it's long. They're long rows because it's an Afghan, and it it's pretty wide. I don't even know how many stitches, 400, something like that. So I did do that, and that is something I can work on while I'm watching television or NBA basketball. And so I also wanted to show you, so I did show you a while back that I made Junko Okamoto's bouquet sweater. And I really have kind of given that to my daughter because she loves it and she wears it. And it actually looks really good on her. It's not, something about the high neck on me I just don't love. And so it looks really good on her. And because she's just been really excited about the sweaters that I've been knitting, I showed her a few things on my queue just to kind of get a sense of if there's anything that she likes. And she absolutely loved, this is why I showed you the bouquet sweater. She absolutely loved Junko Okamoto's rug. And it's a little hard to tell, but this is in the picture in the background. And then let me flip it. So maybe easier to see. It's really cute. It's one size, pretty bulky, very much my daughter's style, like even the way that Junko is wearing it. And there's another picture of her kind of with her ripped, kind of baggy, oversized jeans, just very much my daughter's style. So I was thinking, that's a free pattern, by the way. It's one of those, I love when designers do patterns as a thank you to everyone for purchasing their other patterns. So I think that's really just so sweet. So yeah, this is, if you like this, it's free on Ravelry. It's called Rug. And it's similar in the style and the way that you knit it as the bouquet sweater. And so I also picked up, when I picked up the Inca, this yarn, Inca Tweed, I also picked up the lighter version. So this colorway, I always hate looking for these because I can never seem to find it. I just don't know. It's a dark charcoal. And then there's the lighter, kind of almost a light gray with the speckles of the dark charcoal. It's like they're reversed. Anyway, so I picked up enough of this and ended up not, so I had 10 skeins of this. I only used 6, I think I only used 6 skeins, which is amazing, really. Yeah, so anyway, I still have 4 skeins of this left, and then I have 10 of these. And I thought, because it's a bulky, again, another bulky sweater, I thought that might look really good. Because my daughter did say specifically, because I was showing her, you know, you can go on a pattern and you can say other people, you know, where other people have knit the same thing, and just to see other colorways and what other people have done. And my daughter really liked how it is in the original pattern, which is a kind of a more of a creamy and a darker charcoaly, almost black. So I thought those two, since I already have them, would work really well in this pattern. So I'm going to force myself to work on the other two, the Afghan and the Pine Bough Cowl, a little more, and then I'm going to start this, because I know once I start this I'm just going to want to focus solely on this, but hopefully I can do that maybe for a Christmas present. Hopefully she won't watch this podcast. And then I just also wanted to show you, because I wore this the other day and I don't think I've shown this to you, the Weatherbe Cowl. Yet again, another free pattern on Ravelry. This one is by Rebecca Woelber, and somebody else I watched made this. I think it might have been a Lovely Yarn podcast. Yeah, I think she at least started it. I don't know if she ever finished it, but I really liked it when I watched her podcast. So then I looked it up, and I made this just with a bare yarn. I think it was some leftover Shepherd's Own, or Fiber Natura Shepherd's Own worsted weight. And it's this, so in terms of cowls, I think this is my favorite, because I actually, there's something on there. Oh, I just think it's in the yarn. I actually like, when I wear a cowl, I really want it to actually cover my neck, because I'm usually wearing cowls when I'm walking or hiking or outside watching a football game, something where I actually really want it to be warm. I'll put this over. It's probably going to mess up my hair. So I wore this yesterday when I went for a walk with my dog, and it was perfect because it just, yeah, it works. It keeps, the thing is when the cold air kind of comes in, even if I'm wearing like a big bulky coat or sweater, it seems to go down the neck, and so this cowl is just lovely. I also got the recommendation, and somebody else actually asked on my my Ravelry page where I got these. I actually got these from the same person who, is it Helena from A Lovely Yarn? She recommended these, and so it's an Etsy shop, and so I went on their Etsy shop and got these. They're just little leather tabs. They're really cute. And they come in a pack of 3 pairs. So I have 2 more pairs if I wanted to make 2 more of these, which I think would be a great Christmas present. I'm going to take this off. A little too warm for inside. But yeah, it was a really fun cowl to knit. I remember, from what I can remember, the pattern was really easy to memorize, and I think after the first few rows, I was able, like once I did the pattern a couple of times, I didn't need the pattern anymore because it was that easy. And I'm trying to think what else, if there's anything else to say, but I love this. So if you have a worsted weight, I did try this. I started it out with a kind of tweedy yarn, and the cable didn't show up as well. It's showing up really well on the camera. Sometimes when it's all scrunched, you can't see the cables as well. But I think just a plain yarn, I don't even know like if a self-striping or anything would be, I just think it's really pretty to show off the cables in just a real plain yarn, plain like solid colored yarn, not plain, but solid colored yarn. So I was really happy with this. And then what else did I want to show you? Oh, heading into the holidays. So it's November 12th, and so Christmas is not too far around the corner. And one of the things I knit last year is let's see. So Church Mouse Yarns and Tea website. It's actually a store in Washington on Bainbridge Island, and I've actually been to the store. It is adorable. It's huge. It's a big knitting store, and it's in this idyllic place. When I went, it was fall, so leaves were falling, but it was sunny, and kind of, there was a crisp chill in the air, and it was like, it's just, coffee shops and cafes, and just, it's the cutest little shop. And so this pattern is for the wreath and for the, what do you call it? It says decorative wreath and decorative other. What is it called? Swag? Maybe a swag. But I just love that. I don't know. Can you see that? Nope. There it is. That's why you can't see it. So it was really cute. It's very natural. So I made the swag for our Christmas tree last year. And this, again, I think I just got it at Joann's or Michael's. Just a wool that was bulky that could knit up. And this is a little thicker because it's the wreath, but the swag is just like probably half the like half of that. And then I just went around our tree. It's so cute. I'm excited to use it again. So I didn't finish this last year, but I finished it for this year, and I got a wreath form. And so that's what I want to work on as well, is put this basically around the wreath form, and it will just be kind of I'm gonna get the idea, a woolly wreath. So we always put just a fresh green wreath on the front door, but I might put this inside. We have a kind of a clear glass window door that looks out onto the back deck and yard. And so I like to put a wreath on there. Right now there's a fall leaf wreath there. I think, ooh, I don't know what happened to the color. So I think I'll do that. So that's another fun kind of project. And in line with that, because of the way the slippers turned out with this marled yarn, I was thinking about maybe just making little balls, you know, about here. Actually made a couple about this thickness. And then in this gray, which is the same gray, had some left over from the wreath form, and in the marled, and then I'd like to felt them, and then also do pom-poms a little larger than this, and then string them and kind of use those also as, I can't think of that word. What is that word that you wrap around trees? And it's not swag, but that's what I'll use. But anyway, I have quite a bit of this yarn and the gray yarn, so I think I'm going to try to just do a bunch of balls and pom-poms and make that for Christmas as well. I love just hand-made decorations for Christmas. There's something very, I don't know, cozy about that. I think it's really fun. So I did do a little more spinning, nothing to really show, and I did not do any dyeing, but have been just kind of pounding through some knitting. And then the other thing that I've been really inspired to do is I've been baking a lot. And yeah, I just haven't baked in a long time. I think I just have to be in the mood, and I think something about we just here in the U.S. just had our time change, the what is it, the daylight savings time, and so now it's getting darker earlier. And here in Portland, because we're a little more north, it can get dark around 4, and so that just makes for longer, darker nights. Which I don't mind, because it's, you know, it's an excuse to light candles and have a fire in the fireplace. And yeah, and I think along with all of that, just kind of the idea of baking just feels very fall and winterish. So I've made whole wheat bread. I've made hamburger buns. And then one thing that I've always wanted to make, my mom makes this all the time, but I've just never done this, are homemade English muffins. And I got a recipe off the internet. And I'm trying to think, I want to give credit. Oh, I thought this was a cute name, Baked by an Introvert. And I thought this recipe was great. So I made these, and they were gone. My whole family ate them all up in a day and a half, and I made like 16 of them. So, and my son, who doesn't hand out compliments very readily, he has been very complimentary of my baking. Like, he really loved the whole wheat bread and the hamburger buns, and he loved the English muffins. So I'm gonna have to make more of those. I've also made applesauce cake, which had it was actually an applesauce ginger cake. So it just smelled like fall in here. And then today I baked an orange spice cake, which is really interesting because you take a whole orange and you basically do a whole orange, you cut it up, a cup of raisins, and like a third of a cup of pecans, and you put them in a food processor and you blend that, and then you make a batter, and then you fold in that kind of nut orange mixture into the batter. which just sounded really good to me. Again, I love the flavors of orange. Also had and raisins and nuts. I'm trying to think the seasonings. Did it have cinnamon? It has cinnamon in it. Anyway, I made that for tonight's dessert. So I'm excited to try that. So yeah, I've just been kind of having fun baking. And then the other thing is a project that I've wanted to work on since we got back from our trip. We took a trip to Europe, and it's kind of our once-in-a-lifetime trip. I don't know. Hopefully it's not once in a lifetime. Hopefully we get to go again. But as a family, we've just been planning to take a big trip before, because my daughter's a senior in high school, and we wanted to do a big trip before she went off to college, and life really kind of changes, because then the kids start leaving and going to college and having their own lives. So we've been planning for years to do this trip. So we did the trip. It was so fun. It was just great memories. And so I have all these pictures that I've wanted to put in frames and just, put around our house. So I went to our local Goodwill thrift shop and picked up a bunch of frames, and I spray painted them both white and black. And here's the one picture of us. Oh, you can just see. Sorry. It's hard to not get the glare there. This is us in London. My son is taking the picture. Our middle son is taking a picture. So that's just the four of us. And then I did some larger prints with the kids. I just took a bunch of pictures of the kids at iconic places. So this one is obviously Eiffel Tower in Paris. And then I have one in Amsterdam with a big windmill in back. And then, another one with the Tower of London. And they're all this size, and I did them black and white. So that was another project that I really wanted to tackle. My husband was great. He helped me with that. And so now we have pictures around the house of our trip, which is really fun, and just something, when you have a project in mind and it just kind of hangs over you for a while. So it feels good to get that done and have that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the other thing is I thought, along with the Christmas decorations, I picked up these cute little Christmas trees and stars at our local dollar store. And I thought these were so cute. So I picked up a bunch of these. And I think these are going to be going on the tree this year. Just to add, I have a very, the ornaments that I have hand-painted Ukrainian ornaments, because that's my husband and I met in Ukraine. And then we have wooden, just raw kind of wooden snowflakes. And then metal, kind of almost rusted metal stars. And then I have hand-knit, the, whatever you call it, swag. I am going to remember that and just kick myself, or I can't believe, garland. That's what it is. So hand knit garland. And then I want to add these. I thought that would be a nice little touch too. Oh, and I think I have some red holly berries as well. So a little splash of color. But that's our tree. So that was fun to pick those up. I just picked those up today. I'm trying to think what else. That's been it. But that's been a lot. I think it's been 2 weeks since our last podcast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really working on the couple of things. I'm wanting to do some more hats, some socks. I would like to get started on the rug sweater by Junko Okamoto. And then I think that's going to keep me pretty busy. So Thank you for stopping by. If you have any comments or questions about anything that I showed today or talked about today, I'd love to go ahead and answer any of those questions you have. And yeah, I hope you are enjoying your November. And hopefully I will see you either in a week or 2 weeks. I'm just kind of gauging it by the amount of things I have to show. If I don't have much to show, then I'll maybe wait 2 weeks. But if I get a lot done this week, then I might show you. I might be able to do another podcast next week. So, so I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to talking with you. And enjoy your fall. All right, take care.